I've known Sandra and Don for probably at least 10 years now or more. Immediately, there was a connection between Sandy and I because we both shared the love of the arts and of nurturing and developing young people.
I first came to the Berkshires in about 1976, 77 as a member of the Chuck Davis Dance Company to perform at Jacob's Pillow. That introduction to the cultural life, the people, and I would say also the vibrancy of the place really, struck me as special and important.
I met Don initially as Sandra's husband and just knew him to be a filmmaker and historian, but it was through Lift Every Voice that I really came to know him as someone who thinks large about the community and how programs and many different people coming together can uplift our community.
Think large, us, express very simply what we believe in. That if we could get people to think large, us, think beyond themselves, that's what we do as Think Large, us. The more people work together, the more organic are the relationships. And the more organic the relationships are, the greater the development in the community.
The Jazz Tap Community Residency ran mid-90s to late 90s. For the county, our goals were more to get the community involved in participating in an art form that anyone could participate in, regardless of their age, regardless of their dance background.
All I had to do was to do a little historical investigation about the presence of jazz music and the presence of tap in this community going back into the 50s to find out that, in fact, there was an enclave. There was a place here called Music Inn that a lot of jazz musicians came to regularly, and so did tap dancers. And so we began to explore that a little bit, and we began to dream about a project that might have long-term ramifications in this county. So we developed the Jazz Tap Project. The Jazz Tap Project could be a way for Jacob's Pillow, Williamstown College, the city and community of Pittsfield to develop a relationship with one another. I would say that Lift Every Voice is on that same voyage to bring people together and to uncover ways that institutions and citizens of the county can work together to make new things happen or to address needs.
What Lift Every Voice is an opportunity for African American history and culture in the Berkshires to be celebrated. It's actually Lift Every Voice, the celebration of African American history and culture in the Berkshires.
Well, Eugenie Sills and I are good friends. And we often discuss the issues of race and community development. Approximately 3 years ago, she approached me with this idea of having a community celebration around culture and heritage. What works better in terms of education and awareness than celebrating America's history? Everyone immediately thought it was just an excellent idea and a great celebration and a way to bring community together. So then Eugenie and I organized, kind of created a structure and organized a steering committee. And that's when we invited the different arts and cultural educational institutions, individuals to the table. Through the evolution of life, Sandy and Dawn kind of stepped up, took more responsibility, had vision, brought others to the table, and brought their experiences and their expertise from Chicago to Williamstown College to New York City. They brought all of that with them. And that is how Lift Every Voice was started.
My first involvement with Lift Every Voice was during a planning meeting in 2010 to discuss how to have a festival during the summer of 2011 to create something larger than what we were individually doing on our own.
It was time for African American history and culture to be celebrated in the Berkshires. There was never a Juneteenth celebration, or there had not been a Juneteenth celebration happening in the Berkshires, and they both thought that it would be great to use Lift Every Voice as an opportunity to start that celebration.
Lift Every Voice always starts on Juneteenth, that is June 19th. African Americans who were enslaved in Texas were physically liberated on June 18th, 1865. They learned on June 19th, 1865, that technically by law they had been freed since the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863. A year later, African Americans in Texas started celebrating Juneteenth as a celebration of freedom. It's the oldest celebration of African Americans being free in the United States.
Project Elevate was a signature event for the 2015 Lift Every Voice Festival. Don spearheaded our receiving funding from Mass Humanities for Project Elevate. It gave access to a group of young people to all the festival events.
This past year, Elevate was just brilliant, just a brilliant idea. The program was very effective. Young people learned, they grew, and they earned money. I mean, it doesn't get any better like that in the life of a young person.
Project Elevate is our most successful venture as Lift Every Voice. And the reason being that we wanted to elevate young people using Lift Every Voice, the festival, and additional activities for them.
Sandra and Don also are brilliant at looking at how we program as broadly as possible so that we are reaching the most people, people are being involved and engaged in the events that are being planned. And that means that we've got elders, young people, community leaders, families, all coming together for these events. And that's a beautiful tribute to their work and their philosophy.
Don and Sandra are love, I'll say that. And I love them very much. They continually remind me that I'm supposed to be doing what I'm doing. It's okay to step outside the box and think large and persevere even when you don't think that you can.